Yung introduction ng Rezbt-S podcast, it's really a collection of a lot of my cueing visual aspects of my life's work. So pag hinimay mo yung life's work ko, makita mo dun yung gusto ko dun ipakita sa intro pa lang ng show na to na yung quality, yung inaabot kong kalidad ng paggawa ng content na hindi ko naman sinasabing hindi rin maaabot ng ibang tao or hindi magagaya ng ibang tao, pero parang sinasabi ko kasi na maaga ako namulat sa content creation. Nung bata ako, hindi pa naman tawag doon ay content creation, sa totoo lang. Ang tawag lang doon trabaho. Nung medyo matanda na ako, tawag doon the works. Tawag na ng mga kuya-kuya ko, the works. Diba? And then, doon ko na lang na sort of napagtagpi-tagpi na content pala yung tawag doon. So, content is king, not intro. Yung intro, joke lang yun.
Podcast.
Tito Rez, matulog ka na later kasi baka manghina na naman yung tuhod mo.
Mahilig kasi yung mga Pilipino ngayon na magloko-loko, mukhang gago, mukhang tarantado. Akala kasi nila na nai-equate nila yung like into flirting or attention. But like is just another queuing, a queue. It's just a queue for the technocrats. That's the like button. So yung intro ko, dinecide ko yun na actually not today. Recently ko lang dinecide na yun na yung maging intro ko, yun na ipapakita ko. So I will tulad ng sa mga anime, diba? I will stand by it for maybe a couple of months or so until ma-update ko yung work ko. Marami pa nga ako doon hindi napakita but that is the work that I do as an artist, as someone who's trying to express myself as a visualist, to that I could draw conclusions from what visuals I can create. Kung ano yung conclusions na magagawa ko mula sa mga napapakita kong, my word for it is Maya. Maya, I think, is a Hindu or Sanskrit word that pertains to the illusory nature of the world. Illusory, illusionary, or holographic. Yung translation ko dun is holographic. And it's not my translation per se. A lot of people use that now. A lot of people are, not a lot, to be honest. I'm just kidding about, when I say a lot, it's just out of habit, force of habit ko lang kasi a lot, sana all. But when you are really learning what the greats are learning, have been learning for the longest time, there's not a lot. I was talking to a friend of mine last year and sabi niya na her brother was warning her of a certain aspect of life that sort of gets you deleted. Binuburo ka sa listahan. And that's very dangerous in a sense na when you see, even recording is a daily thing. Maybe in your life, you might equate recording with prayer, maybe, perhaps. Or you might equate recording with talking to someone, calling up someone, being on digital with someone. But those who have been studying technology for a long time have been equating recording to connecting to the grid. Diba? The grid. Because we have started to realize that walang panama yung theory ng quantum physics sa psychological aspect ng duality ng tao. Psychological aspect. Sa puso, iba pa eh. I would say. But the psychological aspect, like, may duality eh. That's what I'm referring to, but that's not what I'm doing to you, you know. It's not what we should do to others, you know. It's one of those things that I want to get into in terms of conversation. That's why I'm slowing down upon request. Na pag-usapan natin yung ano ba talaga yung laman ng psychological identity ng, I don't want to say it, ng Filipinax, ng mga Pinoy, Filipinax. Diba? Kasi alaga natin yun eh. Alaga natin yung mga Filipinax. Diba? Kasi wala sila dito. Diba? But they have a leash. They have that identificatory leash. Dugo. Yung dugong Pinoy. Yung parang spell ng Philippines sa kanila na kahit umalis ka dito, basta dito ka pinanganak, Pinoy ka. So kunyari kahit best friend mo, kahit saan pa pinanganak, sa buong mundo. Basta kahit nasan ka sa buong mundo, basta pag sinabing dito ka pinanganak ng nanay mo na Filipina, nanay mo na Noipi, nanay mo na may dugong Pinoy, so to speak, Pinoy ka, diba? Tapos ramdam mo yon kahit saan ka pumunta. Lalo na pag nakikita mo nagsasuffer yung mga taga dito, taga rito. Very light thing to say. Very light thing to start with, I would say, right? The significance of that, I think, is meron ng dapat pinag-uusapan na bagong mga bagay. And as a futurist, and as someone who's a fan just of knowledge and philosophy. You know, I'm a fan of philosophy. Because it's a discussion of the loving of all, yung lahat ng bagay. And even though people like Peterson would say that scientists would say that isists are ideologies are incomplete. What they're trying to really say is that their times pass. May panapanahon yan. Panapanahon ang pag-uusap tungkol sa komunismo. Panapanahon ang pag-uusap tungkol sa fascismo. Papasismo. Diba? Panapanahon. So may mga panahon na bagong usapan na, diba? I would digress a bit because, there's a lot of content out there that is not king, that is not, not to a point very much helpful to your being here, yung pagiging nandito mo. Not in terms of location, but yung nakikita mong purpose, function, gamit nung pagiging dito mo, pagiging being here, not you being present. Kasi madali naman sabihin na present ka eh. Present. Diba? Magaling ka na, matalino ka na eh. Present. You know, share. I share. Recorded. That's totally recorded. Pero yung pagiging nandito mo, yung ano doon is pagiging. Yung pagiging nandito mo, iba pa yun. Iba pa yun sa parang, kumbaga, iba pa yun sa talagang gusto nating pag-usapan. Yun talaga yung gusto nating pag-usapan rather. And yun talaga yung pinag-uusapan ng mga gustong mag-usap about it. Yung or may kinakausap, yung mga nangungusap. Simple lang naman, hindi man talaga ako nag-old Tagalog. Based Tagalog, this Based Tagalog show is all about the Shinto angular approach of Rezbt-S podcast. I'd like to go from here and make it a jump-off point na, kunyari, na kikilala mo na ako or nakikita mo na ako or may mga nagpapakita na sa'yo sa akin. Diba? I'd like to jump off and welcome you to this part of the show, this part of the audio journey. You can, of course, review it from early episode, if you're a geek like that, if you want to respect the show like that. But, as I go, kasi the quality is getting better. I'm getting, so far this is a solo show. The quality is getting better. How I express it is getting more relatable. I am sort of ingesting kung ano yung feelings ng ibang tao because they have been messaging me about at what point do they think where they should agree or not with my project, with this project. And yung restart is something that I myself have to acclimate to. Sinasanay ko lang sa sarili ko, may klima, merong parang may galawan, merong parang season. Hindi lang ako yung gumagalaw, diba? It's pretty obvious, Pero may climate, may acclimation period na tinatawag. So, my suggestion for you is to, one, if you are into the solo thing, then please do communicate with someone who is also speaking Based Tagalog. Medyo katabi mo or medyo niloload niya rin yun, diba? Niloload niya. Kasi ako, niloload ko lang naman din. Tapos binababa ko para mas marami pa akong ibang maload. And yung paglo-load ko ng Based Tagalog, that's the whole premise of making a podcast show. Para lang ma-practice ko rin talaga yung pagsasalita ng Based Tagalog. At sa pagsasalita ng Based Tagalog, mas matatas ako sa pag-translate ng iba pang nangyayari sa buong mundo. Parang ganun lang, diba? Parang ganun lang. Kasi kailangan mo rin masanay dun sa rhymes. Minus na yung language, yung subject of the language, diba? Of the subject of the Filipino language. Minus na yun because nirespeto ko yun as a totally different aspect of studies. Especially in the Shinto angular approach, diba? Our clan sort of respects that because it's a totally different subject. Kaya nga sinasabi ko lagi na pag-based Tagalog is a trope, kind of, iba yung trope. So, yung Tagalog aspect is, ito yung trope po. And I think the first trope would be yung misidentification and mistranslated anger, so to speak. I'm doing the finger thing with my fingers, quote-unquote. Misidentificated anger, kakulitan, anxiety, and parang disqualification from the Filipino language, which we identify as marketing ng tuta, which just translates to nationalism. I don't really have to parang, kumbaga, hindi mo nahiya sabihin na ayoko sa nationalismo diba? And I acquired that from being a musician, from being a musician that speaks in universal terms na I think if even you have a taint of Filipino-ness but you're in LA and we're talking about the same things, man. We are talking about the same thing. And that's the Tagalog trope number 1. So what I've been able to find out from that, from an observational point of view, what I'd like to share with my team, with your camp, with my listeners, readers, is that we could formulate a rule from that. since we're building hypothesis upon hypotheses, and if you see it working, sort of, kailangan, gumagana naman pala di tuloy pa natin. Then the rule should be formed na you are authorized by what you can translate. There used to be a time na hindi ko kaya i-translate yung mga sinasabi ng mga puti. Diba? Kasi nagugulat ako sa puti nila Parang, puti. Diba? Mga itim. Diba? Dati nagugulat pa ako May mga favorite na story ganyan. Nasa school ako. Sa school marami kami import na itim. Sorry for the term. Import just means, what do you call that? Export student. Sorry. Exchange student rather. Na itim. Black guys, And then, favorite story ko to na naglalakad ako sa cafeteria. Mag-isa lang ako. I was jolly. Bata pa ako noon. And I was looking for a booth to eat in sa cafeteria. So mga ganyan ako. Alam mo yun, when I move around, I'm kind of animated. So mga ganyan ako, chicken Macau. Ayoko niyan. Tapos nahanap akong table. Then titingnan ako, iced tea. Ayoko niyan. So kakaganon ko, malayo pa lang, may na-spot na akong itim, black guy, black dude. Nag-aaral din. Mag-isa lang din siya. Nakita pa niya, nag-isa lang din ako. Nakatayo ako siya, nakaupo na siya sa cafeteria table. Tapos tumitingin ako ng pagkain. Nangarap ako ng pagkain, nangarap ako ng chair, uupuan, tatabihan, nangarap ako ng So yan. Pagtingin ko doon sa isang favorite ko na kainan, ngari, lugaw, goto, lomi. Tapos napatingin ako sa kanya. Tapos nag-eye contact kami. Tapos yung nag-eye contact kami, sobrang bilis pare. Sabi ko, ay puta. Pag nag-look away ako, iisipin niya, racist ako. Pag nag-look away ako agad, kailangan ko tagalan yung eye contact namin. Pero doon pa lang sa eye contact namin, nag-telepathic moment na kami na, ay puta. And, alam mo yun, I was into it too much. Pagtingin ko sa, lechon Macau, natawa na ako. Tapos tumawa din siya. Kasi nagets na niya malayo pa lang ako. Pag ganun-ganan ako. Pagtingin ko sa kanya, ay nako, wala na to. Accidental funny racism na. Hindi man ako nagulat na maitim siya Nagulat ako kasi nandun siya at sa tinitingnan kong upuan, nandun siya. Hindi man ako, alam mo yun, hindi man ako racist alam mo yun, medyo sanay naman ako sa brown and it doesn't matter if it's black or white or yellow or orange or, ang nakakatawa lang dun, yung momentum, diba? Yung momentum of that na basang-basa ng lalo ng mga, aral naman tayo And that's what we should be careful of with words, because words have weight. I am trying to be careful with that. Now, instead of vibing with some other entity, some other group, I as a content creator man lang, if I respect that, and for my brand of the podcast, in order to make you convince my audience that I think what I'm doing is okay, is just, consider for a moment, what am I really making my content? What am I really, ano ba talaga yung ginagawa kong nalalaman? Diba? Kasi may nalalaman na tayo Tapos, wala ka namang ibang tatrabahuhin pag naabot mo na yun. Wala ka namang ibang tatrabahuhin but to express that, share that around, and pagandahin pa yun, pagyamanin pa yun, diba? Ganun lang naman yun. Kaya nga napakasimple lang in terms of yung pagkakalat nun, pagpapaintindi nun sa ibang tao. The other things come in handy, learning how to edit, the behind the scenes kind of shit. But what makes it really interesting is pag natutuwa na yung ibang tao dun sa ginagawa mo. Yung parang, hindi na tayo strangers dun sa pinag-uusapan natin. actually nagiging stranger ka dun sa ginagawa ng ibang mali. Diba? Sabihin mo sa sarili mo, ano ba to? Tigil ko na to. Ba't ba nila-like ko tong mga ganito? Komentan ko nga to ng, tigil mo na yan. Wala namang katuturan ginagawa mo eh. Diba? Kahit pa naman nagagawa mo yan, diba? Pasalamin-salamin ka pa. Haven't you considered maybe that your content is sowing hatred? Haven't you considered maybe that this type of action, digital thing, is sowing non-future things, And I don't want to keep on self-referring. I don't want to keep on hip-hop. Alam mo yun? Balik ako dun sa I'm sorry guys, but balik ako dun sa parang non-hip-hop self. Kasi in-adopt ko na lang yung pagiging hip-hop eh. Pero hindi man nanggaling sa Pilipinas yung hip-hop, diba? Konting-konti pa lang nag-hip-hop sa Pilipinas, mabibilang mo sa balahibo mo, diba? Konti pa lang yun, mabibilang mo lang din talaga yun. Kaya nga, wala namang hip-hop movement na importante talaga eh. Lahat ng hip-hop movement, makulit lang. Tapos nung napalitan na, tahimik na ulit, diba? O, tahimik na ulit. Pero hip-hop ka kung hip-hop ka. Naintindihan ko rin naman yun eh, bilang cosmopolitan. And that kind of reminds me of yung kaliitan ng utak natin when it comes to the type 1 civilization aspect of aspect of the Pinoy. Nakita niyo yung meme, yung Photoshop God na photoshop niya yung sarili niya na naka-shorts lang siya, nakikipagplano siya dun kaya nakasama sina Thor. Or kumakain siya ng shawarma or tumatay siya tapos nandun si Iron Man sa tabi niya. Nakita niyo, tapos naka-shorts lang siya, naka lang siya. Yun kasi yung paradoxical mind ng ng Filipinx. Diba? Ng mga Filipino X. Paradoxical mind lang, maka-X lang, alam mo yun. Maka-X lang. Dualistic, right? And I've been telling a lot of people, I've been sharing that, come on, man. There's a rainbow always after the rain. Umuulan na, diba? So may rainbow na dapat. Di na lahat black or white. Diba, dati naman, black and white means classic, right? Black and white means text, scripture. Black and white means ink. Means a lot of other things, linya. And you're seeing na ganito yung takbo ng utak ng mga talagang content creators. Minus na yung cinema people, So to be part of that truly is to take it real slow. Real slow. Why? Wala tayong pera eh. Wala tayong pera, man. Wala tayong pera gumawa, mag-imbento, mag-fantasize ng hero or heroine na mag-save dun sa utak natin. Save dun sa gusto nating iparating, diba? So, paparating natin yung totoo lang. Diba? Na yung totoo lang, wala pang train sa Davao. Wala pang train sa Cebu. Yung Katipunan LRT, matagal ng sabog. Hindi pa rin inaayos ata. Hindi na ako makagamit ng train. Sorry. Nalabas ko lang yung stress. Pero yeah, because around October of last year, that was my stress point na parang, yung dating lalakarin ko lang yung tren, hindi ko na magagawa kasi wala silang plano or may ginagawa silang iba maybe. Naka-adjust naman ako. Pero I'm not sure, to be honest, if it's okay na. But, those are things na kailangan mong i-accept levels upon levels upon levels of differences na may mga taong nasa Manila, tumitira dito, pero hindi pa nakakagamit ng tren. Hindi nga nila alam kung ano yung train eh. Or wala silang alam sa paggamit ng mga card. Di pa sila nakakatikim ng train systems ng ibang bansa. Hindi nila inaaral yun. Hindi rin nila, kumbaga, hindi rin nila yun aatupagin sa pag-iisip nila kasi ano ba naman yung benefit ng makukuha nila sa ganun? Kung sa Facebook pa lang, buhay na, so to speak. I'm doing the quote-unquote thing again. Buhay na, diba? May action na, may bugbuga na sa Facebook pa lang. So Facebook then becomes your movie. Facebook then becomes your sense of entertainment, your sense of life, your sense of ano. What about the other platforms? What about Instagram? What about TikTok, Twitter, Thriller? What about Spotify? What about Deezer? Ano pa ba nun? You know, all these different platforms. You have to test all those out for yourself, I think. And then watch what it does to your eyes. The Based Tagalog rule number 1 is to be able to translate. Objectifies being able to translate as a function of authority. Na yung sa pagsalin natin ng mga salita, doon natin makukuha yung karapatan na gamitin yung power. Right? Kasi kung di mo pa, unang-una, kung gamit ka ng gamit, gamit ako ng gamit, hindi ko naman pala na-master yung sarili ko. Hindi ko pa na-master yung 5th chakra ko. Hindi ko pa nakikita, hindi ko pa nabubuksan yung 6th third eye ko. 6 yun eh. 6 yung third eye ko dito. I'm kidding. Di wala mangyayari. Wala. Dapat, ang ginagawa mo, ganun ka lang. Wala. None. Masyadaan to, mataas. Ganun lang. You know? Like, bata pa ako eh. Huwag mo ako turuan ng mga, kabalastugan mo. Huwag mo akong, alam mo yun, huwag mo akong i-flirt. Wala naman ako sa dating app eh. Wala naman akong natutunan mo sa Tinder eh. Paki ko kung may success ka sa Tinder or sa Bumble or sa Twitter. Paki ko doon, diba? Bata pa ako. Wala ako dyan. Nag-enjoy ako dito. Ang dami kong games dito. Tapos tinuturuan ako ng mami ko. Alam mo yun. May chicks ako sa school. Ganun mga bata. Okay na ako doon. Diba? Nakita ko pa rin naman si Manny Pacquiao. Lumalabas siya every once in a while. And then, pag lumabas siya, biglang gets na ng mga tao. That automatic thing, right? The automatic writing art form that's been lost na binabalik ngayon, nakikita ngayon natin sa publishing because pilit nating nililinis yung publishing, news publishing, fake news, whatever, ng nakikita natin. You know, sino bang nagko-control niyan? Facebook ba nagko-control talaga niyan? Di totoo yun. I watched this documentary upon the recommendation of one of my teachers. And we have yet to discuss this, pero like, kagaguhan naman yung mga pinagsasabi ng mga engineers sa mga yan eh. Engineers, tapos alam mo yun, engineering, magicians. There's a prestige to that. There's a conspiracy to that. There's therapy in that. And me being able to translate this to myself is just, yay! I don't need to be able to kid myself a lot in order to appreciate really what's been happening around the world. And I appreciate a lot of what the old guys are saying because they're, processing that for a lot of us. And then tayo, what is this new taste of information? What is this new timbre that I am hearing from your voice? How are you achieving, diba? Napapatanong ka, parang pinapatalino mo yung sarili mo in your silence, in your stilling of your being. Diba? Ba't ako ganun ng ganun? Wala mo nang problema. Hindi kasi kapitbahay ko si ganun. Ganun na daw. Ganun daw mag-greet yung mga Filipinax. Tawa naman ako sa suggestion niya. It's a nice suggestion though, And I think what we should be able to do is really be able to look at ourselves on the mirror and say, ito na pala eh. Ganito na pala yung, diba? Minsan ganun, diba? Parang pag bago pumunta sa school, ito na pala oh. Ayan oh. Ganito na pala eh. Kala ko pa naman ganyan. Kala ko pa naman kailangan, ano ba yan? Kala ko naman kailangan ganun lagi or kailangan ganito lagi. Kailangan lagi may alam niyo yan, alam niyo yan, kadiri diba? Kadiri diba? Kahit yung mga senior kahit naman yung mga senior, minsan lang sila ganun diba? Kasi medyo kadiri ito ang kinagagawa nyo. Di ko alam kung matatawa ako or matutuwa ako or sasayaw ako diba? Diba? Masaya pag masaya lang. So that's masterful content. How do you learn that? Are you into that? Or are you the anti to that? If you're the anti to that, then maybe you should be able to consider the fact na may oras lahat ng bagay. Panahon. Meaning, we don't have control on a lot of things. This bug that's been flying around, wala akong control. Diba? Wala akong magagawa kung nakapasok siya dito, diba? Let it be. I think that's the one of the hardest things that you can make yourself learn, to let things be, man. Kaya nagagalit yung mga kuya-kuya sa LA. Kasi yung mga kuyang sa LA, nagagalit na sila. Kasi parang bang pag mag-scroll sila, to ang Tagalog very caring spirit. Sa kakascroll nila, ano bang problema nyo? Ano bang problema talaga? Di mo naman sinabi, di mo naman ni-refer. Pinoint out mo ba? Tinuro mo ba kung saang libro makikita yung problema mo? So kung wala kang problema naman talaga, ano yung nireklamo mo? Depressed ka ba? E di sabihin mo, #depressed, #pa-depressed, #pabebe, #pa-cute lang, #Filipinax. Is that how you pronounce it? Diba? Filipinax na eh. Diba? Ang alaga natin. Alaga. And like, nagagalit yung mga kuya-kuya sa LA kasi nakita nila, ano ba to lahat to? Andito na kami sa LA tapos ganito pa rin yung, alam niyo, kami na nga nandito sa LA. I'm assuming this is how they think, right? Kami na nga nandito sa LA, kayo pa yung ganyan. Kayo ganyan. Okay, ganun. Parang ganun diba? Ganun yung sinasabi nila. If you're really looking at the right things, if you're looking at the wrong things, man, di makita mo yung the same fucking faces. The same fucking faces. Retokado. Edukado raw. Diba? Nag-aral daw. I'm not mocking them. I'm just, di ba ganun naman yung pagsasalita nun? Flamboyant, right? Filipino raw. Diba? Grade 1. Or galit. Yung galit na tumatawa. Yun yung pinaka, Basahin niyo si Seneca. Basahin niyo yung, may audiobook niya na lang. Audiobook, nasa YouTube. His take on anger. May kita mo what is really happening. Because layers upon layers, man. Madali naman, magka-reflection kind of bias na kiching kind of thing, that when I present this to you, this impacts on an angle. Iba na pagdating dito, wala na, tapos na. It happens on everything, especially digital content. And so, yung minsan sa tingin nyo nakakatuwa yung ginagawa ng ibang tao, pagdating sa amin, okay lang, nakakatawa. Nakaka-popcorn actually, nakaka-cholesterol, Pero yung tawa na ang effect sa akin yung parang, gusto ko na magbago. Alam mo yun? Gusto ko na pumasok bukas. Ayoko na ng weekend vibe. Ang tagal ko ng Friday. Gusto ko bukas, Tuesday vibe na ako bukas. Yung Monday vibe kasi, alam niyo yung Monday vibe, di ba? Monday. Tuesday vibe is exactly like this. Not very serious, but very non-callous, I would say. Tanggal lang. Alam mo yun. Walang kalos, walang kalyo. Right? Absorbative, breathing, and cool. Cool. Right? Cool lang. You would notice this in people who really have experience in recording audio because the audio palang identity na siya. Kaya nga kailangan mo i-tape yung sarili mo. Para kang yung bata na hindi naman pa marunong magsalita tapos sumasayaw-sayaw sa TikTok at yung content niya maraming viewership. Pero sa totoo lang, yung sinasalita niya, yung kinakausap niya sa'yo, yung pinaparating niya sa'yo, gibberish. Gibberish. And it's been predicted in Blade Runner. People will speak some sort of gibberish that could not be understood. And the conglomerates, the factory owners, the mega minds will create money, buildings upon buildings and tons of money off that shit. Right? And they're making money off those people. Alam niyo na ako sa Netflix to. They're making money off the people, of you, of them, your brother, your sister, as the product of this thing. Sila mismo yung produkto. Because, why? Because you never bothered, they never bothered, I never bothered to teach them the right word to drill sort of into their mind. Ito yung ginagawa mo. I'm just pointing it out. I'm pointing it out because napagdaanan ko na yan. Sa anong app? Sa Yahoo Messenger pa lang, napagdaanan ko na yan. Diba? May invisibility dun eh. Yahoo Messenger. So my age is a bit showing, But that's what I mean. That is pointification. The side of science, the side of being a virologist, being someone of relevant success and award-winning significance to groups upon groups of different types of smart asses. is that there's change happening. There's change. Kaya nga, next batch na eh. Pag favorite ka this batch, isipin mo naman, pag graduate ka na, hindi ka na favorite. Graduate ka na eh. Ang mentality ng mga tao sa sa paligid mo, aralin mo naman. Kung hanggang grade 6 lang yung pag-iisip pa lang, hanggang grade 6 lang, hanggang high school lang, edi doon ka lang sa pag-uusapan mo, diba? Kahit English pa yan, kahit Chinese pa yan, diba? Hanggang doon lang yun. Now, if you get yourself out of that, if you have aim, and you're seeing, ayun yung pinto. Kasi ganun sila eh. Kunyari, high school lang tayo dito ah. High school lang tayo dito ah. 6 months tayo high school lang ah. Ayun yung pinto oh. Pag matalino ka, yun yung pinto. Punta ka dun. Yung pala yung gusto mo eh. Dito high school lang tayo. Diba? Pogi-pogi lang. Smile-smile lang. Tik-tak lang. Ayun yung pinto. Turo naman sila sa'yo eh. Part yun. Kasi may mga matatalino naman din dun eh. Sabi, ayun yung pinto. Doon ka sa Spotify. Doon ka sa mga kuya mo sa Spotify. Doon ka sa mga ate mo dun sa feminism ng pinto na yun. Oh. Sa ate mo yun eh. Diba? That's a function. Kasi sabihin, the locations have all been recognized. Taas ba? Dito lang no? Recognized. Ito. Dito yung pinto na ganito. Dito yung pinto na ganito. Dito yung pinto na ganito. Drawing mo. Tapos label mo. Doon ka papasok. Doon ka mamamasukan as your digital native form. Tingnan natin kung tatagal ka 6 months. Tingnan natin. Kasama ako sa titingin. Diba? Hindi mo nung kasali. Ba't ako sasali doon, diba? 29 na ako eh. Alam ko na kung kanino ako sasali, diba? Kasi nga, sasali ka dun kasi parang tuntua ka dun eh. Merong something dun, diba? Parang merong, diba? That thing is called the processing slope, upward slope of processing power to the tenths, to the 100 tenths, 10 to the hundreds, exponential growth is because, pag sanay ka sa, nakikita mo lang 5-0, okay lang. Pero masanay ka naman din sana dun sa nakikita mo na mga 10-0. Diba? Aralin mo rin yun, mga 10-0. Kasi, yun eh, una-una, hindi lang naman ikaw yung mag-aaral nun. Minsan, hindi lang, makikita mo, hindi lang ikaw nag-aaral nun. Minsan, yun yung tinuturo sa'yo ng mga tito, mga uncle, ng mga matatanda. And isipin mo to, diba? Pag hindi mo yun in-unlock, hindi rin yun ma-unlock dun sa environment nyo. Hindi nyo yun makikita sa environment nyo. Pag walang nagtatranslate nun, pag walang nagsasalin nun sa inyo, edi magre-refer kayo ngayon dun sa ibang location pa para lang gumana yung function na yun sa utak mo. Ay, puta, napagana mo na naman yung turbine ko sa left brain ko, diba? Diba ganun yung sinasabi? Kilala na kita. Dati ganyan din ako mag-isip eh. Kaya lang, nakabuntis ako eh. Traditional, yeah. Represent, Filipinax. Diba? At least dumami kayo, diba? So, there's a positive way of seeing all things. Plus. Positive way of being, because mahirap na talaga pag parang di mo na alam. Dapat di mo na alam, tulog ka na. Bukas, alam mo na ulit. O di, gawa ka na. Tuesday pa lang eh. I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Hindi, gawa ka na ulit. Ganun lang kasimple. Pwede ka rin magalit, pero just make sure, yung magagalit ka, dun sa mga bagay na talagang worth it. Pag di worth it, parang kunyari, naglilikot lang naman yung hayop eh. Shoe fly, don't bother me. You know? Bakit hindi mo ba nakikita yun sa internet? Hindi mo ba nakikita yun sa mga movies? Hindi ka pa ba nakakabili ng Netflix gamit ang load mo? Pwede na yun. Hindi ka pa ba nakakapag premium Spotify gamit yung load mo? Ginawa na nila yun. Hindi ka pa ba nakakapagbasa ng half a day bago matulog, tapos basa ka ulit, tapos tulog ka na ulit? Diba? Parang di ka pa ba napaplastikan dun sa feed mo? Parang nahalata mo ba na parang may ginagawa na yung internet sa'yo? I'm gonna move beyond that because wala namang papunta to. Diba? Balik ako lang ako sa kinagisnan ko, which is music. Which is music lang. Music_music lang. Yung music lang mentality kasi, yun yung parang tunay na nobility ng musicians. Na naiintindihan nila yun because people wanna learn music. And this is how I understood it. People wanna learn music. You know, when a musician is right in front of you, or like, ano bang mastig na musician? Drummer. Mga drummer na, alam mo yun, parang may groove sila, kala mo dun papunta, biglang babaguhin nila yung bilang. Yun yung mga drummer na magagaling, tapos magpo-polyrhythm. Pag nasa harap mo yun mismo, magagawa. You're gonna have to bop around into the groove. But when you meet a certain someone who's like, this groove is the shit, man. How do you find this groove? Where have you been all my life, bro? Yan ang gusto ko. Diba? It's rare to find that with women these days. Yan ang gusto ko talaga. Ganyan lang. When that's right in front of you, where do you find the breath to sort of take control? Where do you find the breath to... Saan mo hugutin yun, diba? Saan mo hugutin yung sasabihin mo next? It's a really great question. It's a really great question. It's a really great question because, magiging times na of... malapit na yung times of hindi na ginagamit yung lubid. Hindi na ginagamit yung bakal. Hindi na ginagamit yung plastic. Magdarating tayo dun. On that note, maraming salamat for listening to Rezbt-S podcast. You can also like, share, subscribe. I don't want to sound like a vlogger, so I'm just doing it that way. Like, share, subscribe. These are all the buttons that you can press right now. And it's up to you whether or not you will click, you will use the muscle to accept that aspect of you. Who wants this? I mean, I wanted this. Rezbt-S podcast. This is Rez Toledo speaking, and thank you very much. And I'll see you on the next episode. Out.